Miller, Branson, and Newell, absent none. President Schwant opened the pledge at 7 p.m. Motion Newell, second Branson, to approve the meeting minutes from August 9th, 2021. Motion passed. Motion Newell, second Branson, to approve the treasurer's report. Motion passed. Supervisor's report. John reported that the scout building will be removed. The interior things left from scout days will be donated to another troop. County commissioner was not present. Planning commission, Roger reported that work continues on the wind ordinance. He then recommended that another 6-month moratorium be put in place concerning wind energy, as they are working to develop an ordinance that everyone can live with. Resolution, Franson, second, Newell, to enact a temporary moratorium for a period of 180 days on the approval, location, erection, construction, and or installation of any wind energy project. Yes, Schwant, Franson, Miller, Sanders, Newell. No, none. Absent, none. Resolution passed. Newell, motion Newell, second Franson, to allow 4 planning commission members to attend a retreat in Frankenmuth October 27th and 28th with a cost of approximately $362 per person for registration fees, which includes a graduated decrease in price with more attending. Motion passed. Zoning administrator, Dave reported 2 permits issued. Assessor, Michael was not present. Community center, Clerk Sanders presented a copy of a Coral Community Center agreement policy and a rental fee form and asked the board for approval of both, with Kathy Gunderman in charge of both. Her number is 231-823-4611 for rental information. Motion, Franson, second, Newell, to approve both the Coral Community Center agreement policy form and rental fee form offered to the board. Motion passed. Fire board, Ben reported that there were 4 runs in Maple Valley Township. Also reporting that the generator in Truefant Fire Barn is now working. Anheuser-Busch Brewing Company will be supplying the water for the fire department. Previously, they got water from Ice Mountain. There will be a skid delivered next week. Old business, John requested 3 bids for the Veterans Park spruce up and only 1 was received. Motion, Miller, second, Franson, to hire Randy Heckman to do weed spray, fertilize, trim bushes, hedges, and trees and sidewalks at the Veterans Park in Truefant for a fee of $310. Motion passed. New business, there has been no word yet of COVID rescue money. Motion from the Muskellunge Lake Improvement Board to appoint resident Sandy Tiffany from Nielsen Drive to the Muskellunge Lake Improvement Board. Motion passed. Motion, Franson, second, Newell, to contract with the Road Commission for extra parking spaces on the east side of A Street and east side of B Street and do an overlay of the crown on B Street to help drainage. Spaces are just off 2nd Street. Cost will be $20,189. Motion passed. Motion, Newell, second, Franson, to allow the clerk to adjust the budget by $12,000. Motion passed. Reading of the bills. Motion, Newell, second, Franson, to approve payment of the bills for checks 8789 to 8812 for $93,295.91. Motion passed. Roundtable began at 7:30 until 7:43. Motion, Franson, second, Newell, to adjourn at 7:43 p.m. Motion passed.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Or, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from September 13th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Treasurer's report.
Our balance in the general account is $390,746.43. That was a correction, because when I started going over this today, they had put $22,083 in the wrong account. So I went down and voiced my opinion. I know it's hard to imagine. And they took it out, so now we have $390,746.43.
Support.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the treasurer's report as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Anybody got any additions to the agenda? Supervisor's report. Randy Heckman's been busy with mowing still because of this wonderful warm weather we've been having. So they're gonna work on the park here either the end of this week or the first of next week. Get that cleaned up and do what they're gonna do. The scout building, we're working on getting the gas and electric removed from that, so we can start moving it. I was there with Ralph Krantz the other day, and we got looking at trying to figure out what we gotta do to get some of this, there's a few scout things left in there they're gonna donate to another troop, so. And then, it sounds like probably next week or the following, they're gonna work on the parking improvement. So other than that, I guess that's all I've got at this point. County Commissioner Kathy, are you here? She probably went to Pine since that's her home area. So everybody's seen, we got a new county commissioner, Kathy Bresnahan. She's from Pine Township, I believe. Is she really on Rainbow Lake? I think I saw, so hopefully we'll have some representation again. But now they redid all the districts, so that's gonna all change again, so. Report from Planning Commission, Roger.
Yes, we voted in a new chairperson, so Andy didn't have to do double duty. Our new chairperson is now Dennis Delaney. We've also, wanted to have a discussion with the board about getting, somebody a sound engineer or acoustic engineer to help us go through some of these sound issues that we're having on, our ordinance. Other than that, we're continuing to work on the ordinance.
What is Dennis's new job then?
Vice chair.
Vice chair, okay, I thought you said chair, I'm sorry. Vice chair.
He did.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
He did, okay. I say, how, you giving up your job? No. Okay,
No.
so,
Wow, yeah.
and you said something about a sound engineer?
Yes, we'd like to get somebody in there that's a third party that can, go over some of these, abbreviations and all these different sound, that everybody's having a problem with, discuss that with us a little bit better, help us understand it better before we go on with it. Make
Okay.
an informed decision that way.
Do we have any price ideas or any quotes, or we talked to anybody yet?
Nothing yet, I would say probably gonna wanna get, a hold of somebody else that's got more information on, sound engineers themselves.
I emailed 3 different places, 2 in Michigan and 1 out of state, just asking what they would, charge us for a consult to do maybe a Zoom or a video, and the ones in Michigan asking them what their price was, and I haven't heard back. So
Okay.
I just Googled some and looked at their credentials and just emailed them, but none of them have gotten back to me yet.
I know at one time we talked to the Spicer Group, I think they were called. They were regional planners. And,
The ones I looked at were just strictly, acoustic engineers.
but they had referenced some people that they knew that were independent contractors or something, so maybe that's somebody we can, so. I think we probably would entertain something if we can get some prices around and figure out what we can do. So, what do you guys?
Yeah.
Unless we got turned, but that's probably the hardest one to figure out. So, okay. Anything else, Roger?
No, I'm just continuing to work on that ordinance, trying to get through so we can get something done.
Alright, thank you. Report from zoning administrator, Dave.
In the month of September, there were, 2 permits. One was for a garage, 30 by 40, and the other one was, a pole barn for farm use. And that's all.
Alright, thank you. Report from assessor, Michael.
Yeah, I have the results from the residential county equalization study. And assessments in 2022 for the residential class are going to go up about 11%. Of course, that's, due to the strong housing market. That's all I have. I don't have any other results other than the residential.
That was great, appreciate you telling us that.
Yeah.
Wow, everybody quit overpaying for houses, right?
Yeah.
So, alright, community center, Kathy, I don't know if she was gonna make it or not, so. We haven't got no rentals asked for yet, to my knowledge, so. Fire board, Ben.
There was one run in Maple Valley, it was a vehicle accident, and the new students for the fire department started their classes last week. So, that was about it.
Alright, thank you, sir. Old business, we didn't have anything. COVID rescue money there, we got a email the other day, we went in on Saturday, Shirley and I did some changes, we had to put some names on some forms in different locations and did some updates, so hopefully here in the next week or so, we should know where we're at. I see a few townships have started to receive their money already, so we just gotta wait for us to get down the list. I'm just gonna do a webinary the end of the month here sometime. They're supposed to start telling us what we can and can't do with the money, so. Reading the bills, check number 8813 through 8833, amount of $12,605.73. Entertain a motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
Support.
The computer ate 4 checks down the bottom there, you'll see, that's why they're reprinted. So that's why they're all zero amounts, so we had to avoid those. So, it's been moved and seconded to approve the bills, the amount of $12,605.73, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Alright, I've got a letter I need to read. October 11th, 2021, Maple Valley Township Board. Dear Maple Valley Township Board and residents, please accept this letter as my formal notice of my resignation from my position as Maple Valley Township Clerk. My last day of employment of clerk will be October 11th, 2021. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to work for this position for the past 20 plus years as clerk. I've thoroughly enjoyed working here and appreciate all the opportunities you have given me. However, you decide it's time for me to move on to my next challenge. That being said, I would like to suggest appointing my deputy, Kathy Benson, as my replacement for township clerk. Kathy has been a deputy previously in other township and has been very active in this township as our deputy. I believe she'll be a very good choice for this position. I will do anything I can to help in this transition. Most sincerely, Shirley Sanders. So, I need a motion to approve her letter.
I'll motion to approve Shirley's resignation.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the resignation of Shirley Sanders as township clerk. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. So we have 45 days to appoint someone to fill until the next general election, which would be the governor's race in another year. But in the meantime, we can't do any financial transactions, pay any bills, any of that kind of stuff without a clerk. So I kinda guess I would agree with with Shirley's recommendation to appoint Kathy as our deputy, or as our clerk until that time. And when we have the election, Kathy stepped up and she's been helping a lot. Johnny on the spot, she's helping me with the website, got that up and going now. I think she'll be a good asset to the township.
They're gonna be, just regular vote or?
Yep.
I move to appoint Kathy.
I'll support that.
So it's been moved and seconded to appoint Kathy Benson as our township clerk. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Congratulations, welcome. Shirley got called out, she's in Kentucky, I think, when I talked to her last, so, she just decided it was time to,
What's her next engagement? She said her next challenge.
I don't know. I didn't read the letter till I got here, so. Alright, any items of interest? Anybody got anything? If not, we'll open up the round table. Anybody got anything for round table?
Patty Bassett, Maple Valley Township. I have questions, I know you're not gonna answer them, but I'm gonna ask anyhow, just by chance that you might. When I was going through the minutes, the first time Kyle O'Mara was brought into anything was, that I could find, and I may be wrong, was in February for the Zoom meeting. And I couldn't find anything before that. How long has he been representing the township? or Fahey's office been representing the township?
Back when I was planning chair, when we were working on the ordinance, the board gave us permission to go to Fahey's office to have a legal opinion done on it. So that was sometime August, September
2020?
2020, I would guess.
And who was the township attorney prior to Fahey?
We really didn't have one.
You didn't have
No. Mm-mm.
an attorney prior to
Just, yeah, whoever at one time we had a guy from Greenville that was doing it. When I was on the board previously, I can't think of his name.
And
But then
then,
he quit doing it.
Then we went to that one gal out of, Kalamazoo or someplace, is there once or twice is all, then they come back again?
Yeah,
That was Roxanne Seaver.
yeah, there you go.
and where did your recommendation come from to get Fahey for the township attorney?
From the MTA, Kevin Beeson. He's our regional rep for the MTA. He suggested Fahey's office because he'd worked with a lot of these different plans, and he'd worked with they said they recommended him because they worked with many townships doing for and against the wind turbine setup, so they were a good company to work with, they said.
Is there documentation to back that? I mean, you said if we want information, we can have it, cause you guys won't let us in the hall to ask for anything, so do you have documentation to show where you got your recommendation for Fahey? And I'm asking because he has so many other, all of a sudden he appeared when, like you said, the ordinance, when you guys started working on the ordinance in 2020, Fahey's office appeared. So I think that we have a right to know if there's documentation showing you got this from the MTA.
I would think at some point there was something in the board minutes,
No,
but I don't know that.
I
Like I said,
went through the minutes
I know
from,
you have.
oh no, I have them, I go on the website and I go through them quite regularly still, not just, what I was doing up here had nothing to do with, anything to do with this when I first started going through the minutes. And, cause there was nothing in the yearly budget, there was no, Fahey's office was not put in the yearly budget as money that we were gonna be spending this year. There was no payment to Fahey's office until April of this year.
There was a
So,
retainer at one time. Initially there was a retainer put out,
and
and then.
where would I find that information on the retainer and how much was paid and when it was paid?
I don't know that. I'll look that up for you. Send me an email with what you're requesting.
Okay, it
And I'll
will
see
be
what I
to
can
you
do.
tomorrow.
Don't expect it yesterday though.
I know, but
Gotta give me 5 minutes.
you'll get your email
I
yesterday,
know it.
cause you know how I roll.
Yes. All right,
Okay,
thank you.
thank
Oh,
you for answering my questions, I appreciate it.
Anybody else?
One more thing, congratulations Kathy.
So. Yes.
Tyler Treewiler, Maple Valley Township. Board members, do you really want the Green New Deal scam coming to Maple Valley Township on your watch? You are spending taxpayer money to hear what an expensive lawyer has to say rather than listen to what the residents have to say. It's clear the majority do not want to live among 600-foot industrial turbines on a daily basis. Month after month, you have been wasting our town's money on an expensive lawyer who is not promoting the health, safety, and welfare of Maple Valley residents. That money should be spent in our community. The lawyer does not live here and will not have to live with the repercussions of living in a town that is decimated by the Green New scam. Clean energy is quickly evolving, and turbines in nearby counties are already well on their way to becoming obsolete. Do we want to be stuck with 600-foot tall turbines when a better and more efficient technology could be right around the corner? Think of how far cell phones and satellite dishes have come in such a short period of time. We won't be able to just throw away a 600-foot tall turbine like we can an old cell phone. The turbines will stay here indefinitely as a reminder of the divisions this whole issue has caused our community. We can't let one company come in, divide our community, and waste our money. It's gone on long enough. What more do the residents have to do to make it clear? Two of the most important tenets of the Bible are to love God and love thy neighbor. I pray God touches the hearts of every member of the board to help them realize the weight of the decisions we'll have on our community. I pray for the well-being of our residents and that we will be able to come together and rise above all the divisiveness that has come about over the past couple of years. I pray that whatever comes our way in the future, we will get through it as a community, and we will live together in peace. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen.
Alright, anybody else? Robin?
I'd like to talk about the motion that you made last month about the paving. Number one, is there any of the merchants putting any money in for this?
No.
We had a meeting, I was at that meeting up to the DBS hall. Nothing was settled. Nobody said, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, or oh, yes, we're gonna do that. And now just all of a sudden, you bring it upon yourself to take $8,000 from a road fee and another $12,000 from a sneaky fund. That's exactly what she said. It's nice when you can take money from a sneaky fund. What kind of a fund is that? Are we all be able to dip into that, or how does that work?
I'm the owner of the schoolhouse, and I think it's a waste of money.
Okay.
I mean, honest to God, do you really think you need to use taxpayers' money to put in more parking?
Is that the first, I'm not gonna entertain, cause you're just gonna fight with me no matter what we say. It's not been a one-time issue, it's been discussed multiple times.
But,
with
no,
all the
wait,
owners-
right
All
there.
the township board, or all the member, or there was representatives from the bar,
Every
barber
single merchant
shop,
was there, I was there,
everyone was
every
there.
single merchant. But have you seen any of them here? Have you seen any of them here since that meeting, asking you repeatedly where you are
not
with,
necessarily here.
oh, but out of here, so us taxpayers' money, or us taxpayers had no idea what was going on.
You want us to cancel the project?
I do,
Okay,
exactly. I want you to
No.
amend or resend or whatever it is that you've gotta do.
I'm not. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, Tom McClellan, County Lake.
Yep.
There's so much I'd like to say, starting from back in November when we had to go out and gather signatures to stop this ridiculous ordinance from moving forward in the first place. But to your point, young man, well said. Simple question. Rather than hemorrhaging cash on lawyers and sound engineers, why don't this go to vote? If Maple Valley Township feels like 600-foot industrial turbines are good for the community, then build an ordinance. It will help you make it. If not, what's the point? I mean, why is this happening? Put it to vote. Let the people have a say. It isn't your decision, it's our community.
I really wasn't done with my 2 minutes, so.
Well, you'll have to wait because Ann's already asked now.
I
Go
just
ahead,
wanna
Ann.
know, am I allowed to say something?
Yeah.
I didn't know it would be up there. Okay. I hope y'all remember that we have YIMBYs and NIMBYs here. Yes to the wind, yes in my backyard, and not in my backyard. We have both kinds of people here. There are some people that want it, there are some people that don't, there are some people that are in the middle that don't know. The board is the zoning, whatever it is I sit on Thursday night, zoning commission.
Planning commission.
Planning commission, there we go. We're doing the best that we can to get this done. Personally, I don't know if we need the money for the sound, but if that's what we wanna do, if that's what they want us to do, then we'll do it, but. Please remember that those of you that do not want the wind are not the only ones in the room. There are others that do want the wind too. Trying to satisfy two sets of people.
It's pretty obvious to see who the majority is.
Excuse me. It's because the majority speaks louder than the rest of us. Thank you.
Okay, Robin, would you like your one more minute?
Yeah,
Then I'll get to
you
you
didn't
first.
have enough money for a cleanup. We asked for 4 months, but all of a sudden you come up with $12,000. Just boom.
Grabbed it.
Yep, you just grabbed it right out of the air, didn't you?
Yep.
I don't know what kind of supervisor does something like that.
Yes, Chris?
Bring me up to speed with this. Whose decision ultimately is it
for the wind turbines, yay or nay? Isn't it the property owners?
No,
No.
it's the ordinance.
Well, whose decision is it?
That's the $1,000,000 question.
That's why they have zoning laws, cause it affects the whole community.
Well, but zoning laws don't always mean something, I have to tell you, which is why I'm here, about some zoning, at any rate, not the turbines. I just was curious.
So how do they benefit the people that aren't multi-generational landowners that are willing to sign leases? How does it benefit other people in the community? It's not powering better schools, it's powering divisiveness, separation, stress, turmoil, waste of funds. What in having these turbines in our sunset view, how does that help us? What's our gain there? What's the benefit?
Thank you. Anybody else? Dennis?
I think we're losing sight of the whole operation here. We must have an ordinance. Without an ordinance, we fall back on the state and federal government for what we can or cannot do according to with this wind ordinance. If we have a wind ordinance of our own, we determine what can and can't be done in Maple Valley Township. And yes, that's exactly the way it is. If you don't want it on your property, they can't bring it in there with this ordinance. Without the ordinance, the state or federal government could come in and tell you that you must. And what they can do, and I've done a little research on this, and unfortunately,
You have no idea what you're talking about, sir.
Sir?
Please don't have another outburst, or I'll ask you to leave. Thank you.
I've done some correspondence with Washington DC, and they are right now discussing the possibility of using eminent domain to further what's called clean energy.
Biden's Green New Scam.
Get him out of here, will ya?
One more
not
time,
Vinny.
I'm not doing it.
And it's not Vinny.
Yeah, Tyler, sorry.
The clean energy focus in Washington DC right now is on wind and solar. And I agree, probably in the near future, maybe not even my time, something better is gonna come along, but we don't have it right now. We have more hydroelectric plants in the state of Michigan than anything else, and they only generate 2% of the electricity. So what the whole thing about wind is, it's also free. The cost is coming out of the wind, outside of the capital of putting up the generator. If you want it on your property, you have that choice with this ordinance. If you don't want it on your property, they can't come in and do it. And with the rest of this ordinance, it gives you everything that's gonna take into consideration as everybody's rights to their property. And that's what it's all about. We must have an ordinance. Without an ordinance, we're at the whim of the state and federal government. And I'm telling you, you're not gonna like it if they come in and tell you you have to do it, because then you can't say anything about it, unfortunately. And I personally don't want those government agencies to come in and tell me what I can and can't do with my property. I want it right here at home.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Vicky?
Vicki Douglas, Maple Valley. Welcome, Kathy, and I would like to ask, because I found out at the planning commission, Roger told me that Apex left a operations manual in the office for anybody to look at. I just wanna know if, finally, you're here, if we're gonna have maybe 1 day a week, 2 hours a day that the office is gonna be open. And only because I'm looking at our bills, Consumers Energy, $254.22 for a building that you can't even use except 2 times a month. For a planning commission and, a board meeting. So I'm hoping that maybe you can look at your schedule and see if you can come up with a regular time of a Wednesday from 1 to 3, or, whatever's convenient for you. Just so we as a township, no, we can come in and look at that. That's it for Kathy. The other thing I'd like to say is that the planning commission also, Mr. Dombrowski talked about the 75 hours of research that he's done on this wind issue. And he brought up Venezuela and these different countries and whatnot. Well, I looked up Venezuela because I thought, they don't have wind turbines there. And I found something very funny. Venezuela manufactures wind turbines and solar panels, and they do not have a single turbine turning in their country or a solar panel on their roof. So, thank you for having me look at it. That's it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Gordon?
I'm Gordon Bass, Maple Valley Township. I'm wondering where your $12,000 came from. Did it get pulled out of the CDs that you guys don't mention that we have, at your monthly meetings? And how much are in these CDs that we never talk about?
Okay, I'll explain this once. We're not gonna go through this 24 more times. In March, we set up a budget. There's money set for roads, we have millages for roads, we have millages for fire, that goes to fire. Those can only be used for those things. There was extra money left in the millage this year for roads, that's where the money's coming from to do this project with. So, why don't you just say it, so I have him answer your questions for you.
Cause you won't let me talk twice,
Alright, thank you.
but he's not done.
Anything else,
The
sir?
problem is, there's only like 3 businesses on the strip, and you're one of the businesses that's benefiting, so.
I don't care about the businesses on the strip, that's not
But you do
my
because you're the one-
business, that's not me, I'm not,
Yes, it is.
see.
It's your
okay.
business.
I
You're
can't
the one
take
selling
motion to
cigarettes,
adjourn.
selling tickets of beer right there.
I can't make
People that wanna talk.
Alright, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you, we'll see you next month to come yell at us.
This wasn't about the turbines.
Don't like when you know you've done something wrong, do you, John?